Hello fellow friends and family, my name is Josh and welcome back to another video. So I was going to do like my top 10 favorite bosses in Devil May Cry 5, which if you guys still want me to do, just let me know. But I wanted to do something slightly different and rather rank the designs of the enemies and bosses in this game. I've played through this game twice now. I'm on my second run right now actually. I'm just about to beat Virgil. And I can't get over the creativity of all the designs of the demons and bosses. They're just fantastic, okay? So I wanted to do that. I wanted to talk about specifically the aesthetic look of all the enemies and whatnot. Also, if you guys want, tell me about your favorite design enemies and bosses in this game, even if you haven't played it. Just let me know which one you think looks the coolest. And yeah, with all that out of the way, let's begin. Let's start off with one of the most basic enemies in the game, the Empusa. I really like the idea of having a huge insect, but then it has a human face in between its mandibles and on the side of its head as well. I just think that looks really cool. And I love the idea of body horror, and it's probably my favorite type of horror, where they manipulate and deform the human anatomy, and squeezing 3 human faces on an insect head is really freaking cool. And by the way, this all applies for the regular Empusa, the red, and the green one, because they're not that much different. So yeah, even though these are the basic enemies in the game, they're still really good looking, and I'm going to give them a C ranking. I really do like them. The Hell Cana, on the other hand, is one of the other basic enemies, and also, if I pronounce these wrong, listen, you can just correct me if you want, but I'm going to go with it. But anyways, like, I've seen this design multiple times before, not only in video games, but just in general. I mean, I like the crown of thorns connecting to Christian imagery, but besides that, it's pretty basic. I'm gonna give it a D ranking. The Hell Antenora does a little bit better, but it's not super. It's not too much better. I do like the lore though. It's really cool because it's basically a Hell Cana that's been tortured constantly. Hence the small detail of the freaking noose around its neck. It's twisted, but it's pretty cool. They also have huge 2 meat cleavers, which is a good choice for a weapon with, with demons and such, but really annoying to deal with. My only complaint really is the weird blob head. I mean, I wish they had some type of actual structure, which brings it down to a C rank. It's better than the regular Hell Cana, but not as much better. And then we have the Hell Judica. Now, this is a gorgeous design. I mean, it's pretty basic though. It has a basic skeleton body with a couple other faces of a skeleton around the body with a huge retractable scythes, and it's tall. I don't know what it is, but the bigger the better from my perspective. And those huge retractable scythes and the way it attacks, it's simply elegant. My only complaint again are the weird purple tentacles coursing throughout its body. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one, but it looks very cartoony. But regardless, I'm giving this design an A ranking. Very good. The Pyrobat. I mean, this is just the bat with... It's just the bat. Like, I'm not a big fan. D ranking. And the same goes for the Hellbat. It's just a Pyrobat that's more on fire. D ranking again. I don't like them. Death Scissors. Now these are really cool because they're based on the Fate Sisters in Greek mythology, where they would cut mortal string and then the people would scream and die or whatever. They're very creepy, especially with those huge rusty scissors, and I like that idea of a weapon. You know, when you think of weapons, you usually think of, like, I don't know, like hammers, great swords, the Leviathan axe, or something, something that is moderate and something that can be classified as a weapon. And then you have these huge rusty scissors that break the normal boundaries of what would be considered a weapon. It's very cool. I give this a solid B ranking. And then we have Riot. I mean, come on, who doesn't love reptiles? I really like the lower jaw that splits into 2 parts. I think that's a small detail, but it's nice. And I really like the muscular humanoid body. I mean, it's very basic compared to the other designs, but it's very cool regardless. I give this a solid, I was gonna say B, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with C ranking. The Empusa Queen is really cool. Like the regular Empusas, it has human facial parts on the head, like 4 noses, 2 on each side, and a skull in between the mandibles. And come on, who doesn't like that? It's very creepy, and I feel like a lot of these guys can fit into horror games, but regardless, this design deserves a B ranking. And then we have Scudo Angelo, which I think is Italian for shield angel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the etymology is about. Anyways, a very nice humanoid demon. I mean, Again, it's like one of those weird like body dysmorphias where it's applied in horror games. It has no eyes, but the other human features are still there. It has iconic devil horns, a cool shield with a woman's face in the middle. It really all comes together. I'm gonna give this a solid A ranking. And then we have, of course, Proto-Angelo, pretty much their lieutenant, if you want to put it that way. It's a very nice step up, and essentially, it's an evolved Scudo-Angelo. Along with its really awesome greatsword, it makes me think it ranks as an S design. I think this is really good. The Baphomet is certainly the GOAT.
You guys get it? Because it's a goat.
Now, I know that goats are very iconic in demon rituals and stuff, so it's nice to see, obviously, a goat-like enemy in a game all about devils and stuff. I like its magic-looking body, I mean, like, don't judge me, where it has thin limbs and levitates over the player. I think it's cool, and I think it really works with the goat head and all that. A solid A ranking from my perspective. The Behemoth. I absolutely love this blubbering giant. And it's made actually, okay, well, first let me say that this reminds me of Devil Joe from Monster Hunter, and they're made by the same company, Capcom. So, I mean, definitely they may have taken some inspiration, I'm not sure, but you can't tell me that they don't look alike. They even have the same personality of just eating everything in their path, so, I mean, come on, the resemblance is quite extraordinary. But like I said, this huge giant is freaking awesome, and the two tongues I personally think seal the deal, because you just don't really see that. And it makes it, for me personally, a solid S rank. The Classic Nobody, which really isn't classic because this is probably the most abstract design I've ever seen ever. It's a good representation of body horror, and I really like the grotesque design. The huge eyeballs, the mask, the spider-like body, and of course the huge freaking hand that protrudes from its back. It's cool, you know? And I'll give it a solid A ranking, actually. I do like it that much. As weird as that sounds, as abstract as it can be. Chaos. This Stegosaurus-like lizard is fantastic, and the Stegosaurus spikes that makeshift a huge rotating wheel of death, beautiful design choice. It also has an alien-like skull face with needle-like fangs from the I can't speak today. It's really hard for me to speak when I only have bullet points to go off of. Man, I have to get better at that. But anyways, it has needle-like fangs from the bottom jaw, and it just looks so well. As a matter of fact, the more I realize it, humanoid lizards are just cool, you know? I give it a solid A ranking. Fury is definitely, boldly I will say, one of my favorite designs in the game. When it comes down to both the enemies and the bosses, I think Fury is definitely up there with just best overall designs in the game. I have no idea why, but combining the structure of human anatomy with other things just works so well. At least for me it does. And Fury is a completely upright man lizard with better posture than me. It has crimson red skin with some black mixed in the center of its chest, and it's just a nice combination along with the skeletal-like spine tail on the back. It's so simple, but so freaking good. And how could I forget about the demonic blades that materialize from nowhere? That really seals the deal. I'm giving Fury a double S ranking. And then we have the other magic wielder, Lusatia. And usually, just big blobs as the enemy are not really cool, but when you put multiple mouths on that blob, I'm more inclined to like it for some reason, and I very much do. And I guess also the small body underneath helps provide structure, even though he's super thin. And by the way, Lusatia has many mouths, including on its hands, that are constantly chanting spells or something. So the lore behind it is basically this demon over generations was obsessed with spells, and then over time it's just had, you know, more mouths to enchant things with. It's weird, creepy, and I freaking love it. I'm giving this an S ranking. And now we move on to the bosses, which, ironically, from my perspective, I prefer the designs of the enemies rather than the bosses, but we're still ranking them anyway. The Clyphoth roots. I mean, it's roots with a giant, you know what that looks like, right in the middle. I don't really know what else to say. I'm giving it a D ranking. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. And then we have Goliath, which is pretty much a basic large monster. The only interesting thing about Goliath is its huge stomach mouth, and I like that, but it's not anything super special. I'm gonna give it a C ranking. And again with Artemis, I'm giving it another C, because the celestial appearance is cool, but I don't know what it is, I'm just not fond of the design. I respect it, and I still like it, but when compared to the other bosses and the other enemies in the game, design-wise, Artemis kind of falls flat. And then we have Nidhogg, which is a really weird name. Nidhogg? Is that actually how you pronounce it? I guess it is. Anyways, the humanoid parasite, I like the orange on it. I don't know why. I think orange suits it. And then it has these 3 piranha plant-like appendages, if you want to call it that remind me of the Twilight Princess boss Diabola, which is really cool. I'll obviously, I'll put up a picture, obviously, to show you. Overall, very nice. You know, I'm gonna give it a B ranking. Now, the Elder Garen Knight, we're gonna be both ranking the horse, and then I'll rank the knight separately. So the horse itself is freaking cool. I mean, come on. It has glowing blue horns and stuff, has a silver exterior, and then it can control time. I mean, that doesn't appeal to the design or anything, but I just like that little feature. My only problem with the design are the pupils. Okay, like, I don't know what they were going for, but it looks cartoony to me. Am I the only one? And I don't know. I just wish it was all blue. Still, though, I'm giving it an A ranking. Cavaliere Angelo, though, is honestly not the best. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's because I've seen it before, like on Pinterest when I was looking at like fantasy art or whatever. And it kind of reminds me of that Guardians of the Galaxy enemy. I haven't watched, it's been a while since I've watched that movie. But I'll put up a picture for you guys. I want to like it, but I just can't. I'm giving it a C ranking. And then it just gets worse with Gilgamesh. I mean, I get what they were going for, but I don't like the execution. I just don't know what's happening. There's too much. It's too chaotic to the point where it just ruins it. I'm gonna give it a D ranking. And then we have Malphas. Freaking, this is such a good design. And again, I really can't tell you why, but this fetus chicken with human teeth and the 3 witches super glued together on top is aesthetically pleasing to me. I don't know if I have a problem, but I'm not sure. But regardless, the design, it just works, okay? I'm giving it a double S ranking, for sure. The King Cerberus. It's something that I've seen before, obviously. I mean, the Cerberus is something very well known in mythology, but honestly, I don't mind it. And the different elements that are, you know, aesthetically pleasing, not only to the arena itself, but to the boss, very cool. When it, like, basically when one of the heads takes over, the entire body changes to that color, whether it's thunder, ice, or fire. And I've noticed that basically, at least from my perspective, if you want a good design, add some type of head from the human anatomy, or just add more heads, and you got a good ranking, for me. Which, I'll give it, I don't think it's S material, so I'm gonna give it an A ranking. I do very much like it. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Urizen and pretty much Virgil. So we'll go off of Urizen first. When Urizen's on the throne, it's cool. It's like a little tree root cocoon over like a huge demonic king. And I love the aesthetic behind his arena and everything. With all that in mind, I'm gonna give this form an A ranking, for sure. However, when Urizen is fully awakened, I absolutely adore that look. The shoulder heads, I don't know why, but it just gets to me. Those shoulder heads are troll-like, and it just works so well with the overall design with the multiple eyes all over the body. And those 2 huge shoulder heads, I can't stop talking about it. They just look really cool. And the face obviously is very intimidating and very demonic-like. It's very simple at the same time. I've seen that before, but it looks really good. And I've noticed that, again, if you add human parts to places where they shouldn't be, you have my vote. Surprising as that sounds. My only complaint, I mean, not really complaint, it's just a small thing. The mouth crotch, okay? I mean, I don't know why they added that, but it really doesn't take away from the overall design, because I didn't even notice it when I was fighting it, like, in battle or whatever. Overall, though, S ranking. I absolutely adore that design. You know what? No, we're going with double S ranking. I'm changing my mind. I think it's that good. And then we have, of course, Virgil. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love Virgil? He's freaking Dante's older brother? Younger brother. This is my first in the series, so forgive me if I don't know exactly, and I'm going off of memory. I think it's his older brother. You know what? I'll just look it up. I'm recording on my computer right now. Okay, yes, he is the older brother. I did have it right. So yeah, I mean, and obviously it's hard to rank him compared to the other ones on this list because they're monsters, and Virgil's just a human being. But regardless, I'm giving him an S ranking. I just love the design and the attitude of this character. Fellow friends and family, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this kind of relaxed video, I tried to be as... I didn't want to write a script, basically is what I'm saying. So I tried to, you know, do quick bullet points and just kind of go off of what I felt about the design in the moment. But yeah, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and to subscribe for more content like this. Oh, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'll put in a link in the description. In case if anything happens to the channel, you can follow me there. I also retweet a lot of memes. Not like I don't post them, but I just, you know, I just share them. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, blah, 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 subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.